It is the fourth and final day of the 2002 NFL Scouting Combine. Iconic statue of Peyton Manning outside Lucas Oil Stadium. Defensive backs will be the stars of the show this afternoon and evening. There you see Sauce Gardner going to dig into someone we suspect could be selected in the top 5. It has been an exceptional outing these past 3 days. We expect the fourth day will not disappoint, along with former scout of the Panthers and the Seahawks, Bucky Brooks, and our intrepid researcher slash biography author, Lance Zerline. I am Matt Money Smith. And gentlemen, it is great to be here today. We are excited about the group we're going to see. Today it's a little bit of an earlier start, so instead of 4 o'clock, we get rolling at 2. We expect it to be about a 5-hour affair. Already had some special teams a little bit earlier. We'll continue with the specialists as well. But the stars of the show, gentlemen, are going to be the defensive backs and the cornerbacks. And the corners mean, you want to get a little energy, a little something going, want to get a little pregame meal.
Yeah. We got to get that going. Let's put it out right here.
If you're going to do business and you're going to make some money and you're going to impress the league officials, the general managers, the coaches, the scouts, you got to make sure you got the meal of champions. And that's what our Roger Mccrary put together and shared with our Senior Bowl crew, Andrew Siciliano, CD, and Daniel Jeremiah down in Mobile. Take a listen.
You got to help me out, though, with this night before the game meal that I read about, Roger. Correct me if I'm wrong, and maybe this is just social media legend here. Roger, you kill an entire can of baked beans and put 8 packets of sugar on top. Is that real?
That is like facts all the way, but I don't just eat a can. I'll eat a whole plate. I'll eat a whole pan. I'll eat all types of baked beans. I just love baked beans. And before the game, I have to eat me some baked beans.
Do people want to stand near you in the huddle after that, Roger?
Oh, no, my stomach be good. I'll be great. I'll be in the best mood ever after I finish eating a big plate of baked beans. And they just record me and be like, what are you doing? I'll be like, I love it. I don't care.
Roger, you do not give up much separation. That's got to really kill wide receivers, I can promise you, on multiple levels.
So, as we see Roger Mccrary there, defensive back number 25, getting ready to begin his afternoon. Broad jump, vertical, doing some drills, running the 40. We figured instead of doing what, if you've been watching the show through the course of the week, and of course you have, Bucky and Lance, we've been doing put some heat on it.
Yeah.
Flames, 1 through 5 flames for how much heat we're going to go with each player. So now we're going to make a meal of it.
I love it.
That's the idea. Make a meal of it. So, Buck, you got your beans. Make a meal of it. We'll go hamburgers. We'll see the little burger emoji.
Yeah, I like the little burgers.
There we go. So how many burgers for Kyle Hamilton today, the safety out of Notre Dame?
Oh, I'm going to give him 4 burgers.
4 burgers.
4 big, beefy burgers, because when you look at Kyle Hamilton, he is everything that you want at the position. He's a center fielder player who has a box safety mentality, meaning he can come down, he can be the enforcer, he can play over top, he has range, he can come off the edge a little bit, his little sneaky, crafty blitzer. He is complete as they come at the safety position. He is going to dazzle on the turf today, show everyone what he brings to the table.
All right, we go from Kyle Hamilton to the Pac-12, and a lot of talk about Trent McDuffie, Lance, but you're taking on the man that was opposite him, Kyle Gordon.
This man's about to get 4.5 burgers.
4.5 burgers?
Yeah, let's go 4.5 burgers. And the reason's simple. He's about to kill it today. He's very fast. He's very twitchy. He's very explosive. And so what you're going to see is a cornerback who has the ability to jump over 40, because that's going to happen, and he is going to move around the field very, very smoothly and quickly. Everything that you see on tape, the instincts need to get a little bit better. But from a testing standpoint, it's not even close. I mean, this guy is maybe the most explosive cornerback in the entire draft, and on top of that, he's really, really physical as well. So I really love him, and I think he's going to get 4.5 burgers rolling today and clean the plate.
Well, Bucky, I mentioned his teammate, Trent McDuffie. How many burgers Trent going to get?
Oh, Trent's going to get 4 burgers.
Okay.
He's not as hungry as his other guy, but he's going to make it happen. The son of O.J. McDuffie is also a skilled and talented technician. He has the ability to play up in your face, but also can back off and make plays. And so when I look at the way the Huskies have produced corner and DB after DB at the next level, he is the next one. Terrific player. Look for him to vault up the charts. He's an outstanding athlete and playmaker.
All right, Lance, how hungry is Jaquan Brisker out of Penn State?
He's starving.
Okay.
I'm starving.
Well, I hope he got a lot of burgers then.
4.5 burgers for Jaquan Brisker. And here's the thing. This is another guy that's going to test really, really well. Penn State, if you keep up with the draft at all, you know that when the combine rolls around, Penn State safeties blow it out. Remember Troy Apke? Deion didn't know what to say after he ran his 40, and that was on the slower turf. Let me tell you something. Jaquan Brisker is a big, strong, powerful, multi-talented safety. He can play down in the box. He's a really good tackler. Played through a shoulder injury this year and missed a couple more tackles than usual. But he is a tough tackler who also has great athletic ability and cover skills. So what you're going to see is a guy who tests really well, but he's also a really good football player. And that's why in my first mock I had him going in the first round, and people hadn't seen him in the first round before, but I think you're going to start to see him more often after he tests today and people are done sleeping on him. When those burgers are in the belly, oh, he's in the first.
I don't know if he wants actual
He's in the
burgers
first.
in the belly. Burgers on the screen. We couldn't do the make a meal out of it without Bryant Cook. I mean, the man's name is Cook, for goodness sakes, out of Cincinnati. How many burgers, Buck?
I'm going to give him 3 burgers, but I'm going to give him 3 burgers because he was a relative unknown. We haven't had a lot of people talk about him. But the kid from Cincinnati is outstanding in terms of the versatility, the toughness, being able to match up on tight ends or slot receivers that are displaced. He can do a lot of different things we saw at this level. He was very impressive. The safety position is undervalued in the draft. He is a guy that is going to be a tremendous value for a team that really appreciates a versatile and dynamic player at the position.
You know, we don't have one of them piddly little grills. We got a giant, like it was towed here behind an F-350 or something, Pitmaster-style grill, because we got a lot of burgers to keep handing out. How about Kalyn Barnes?
Yeah, I'm going to go 4 burgers. And one of them we're going to put 4 different cheeses. We're going to call it a Quattro Formaggio. That's what we're doing there, Money. Shout out to Money Smith. Listen, Kalyn Barnes, you thought Tyquan Thornton was fast? You might want to hold on a second because this guy, Kalyn Barnes, actually ran he ran a sub-10 100 meters in high school. He's another track guy coming from Baylor. He might actually end up with the fastest time at the combine. He is a talented, tough corner with absolute explosive speed. And I think what you're going to see from him on a fast turf is the fastest recorded time at the combine. I think we saved the fastest for last, and it's going to be Kalyn Barnes, a Baylor Bear overtaking another Baylor Bear.
You may have saved the fastest for last, but I'm going to go and save the best for last. Because, look, too often the specialists are overlooked. How important are specialists? Just ask Evan Mack. Money Mack for the Cincinnati Bengals and how he helped guide those Bengals to the Super Bowl. I'm taking my man Matt Araiza. San Diego State, he was out here a little bit earlier. You've seen his punts go viral. Look at that punt. You know, they said, you're kicking it too far, Matt. We got to see some hang time. He's like, oh, you want hang time? How's this for hang? How's 4.7 seconds for hang time? I got 5 burgers. I wish I could give Matt Araiza 6 burgers. Look at that thing, Buck.
We have a punter in the A block?
In the A block.
In the A block, we got a kicker and a punter in the A.
Look at that thing, Buck. Look at that thing bouncing. It just stops at the 1 yard line.
What are we doing?
What are we doing?
We got a kicker, a punter in the A block.
That's a day 2 punter.
You telling me Shane Leckler was a wasted pick when the Raiders picked Shane Leckler when they drafted him? Was that a wasted pick? Or was he the best punter in the last 20 years?
A block.
Exactly right. Watch this. Watch. Oh, that one, he was going to punt it over them mountains. That's how big that punt was going to be. Like, ready? Yay! That's what I say.
Next we're going to have the kicker running out the tunnel first to lead us out onto the field.
Hey, Buck.
That's where we're going?
You remember Todd Sauerbrunn? You remember Suns Out, Guns Out?
That's the same guy.
You remember Suns Out, Guns Out, Sauerbrunn? All right, we got a return of Todd Sauerbrunn here this afternoon in Indianapolis, and he deserves that attention. All right, Buck, there's your top 5 corners. Let's get into some of the guys that we have not talked to as of yet when it comes to make a meal out of it. Sauce Gardner.
Oh, Sauce Gardner. I mean, I just appreciate having a nickname that matches your game because, you know, a good meal always has some kind of sauce on it. I don't know if you fancy yourself as a cook, but I am a guy that likes to get on the grill.
Oh, is that right?
And so when you get on the grill, sometimes it's not just about the meat, it's about what you can put on it. Sauce Gardner is all over wide receivers. He is tight, sticky with the coverage. He has those long arms. He makes plays. But what I really love about Sauce Gardner is he understands when he needs to step his game up and get it. The ball hawk ability sets him apart from others. This is a terrific player, a guy who has all pro potential. I expect him to be a star at the next level.
Yeah, I tell you who I like. I like sauce too, but a guy who is less about the sauce and more about just the straight flavor, and that's going to be Andrew Booth. And Booth is a talented – now, he's a talented cover man, but what I love about him is he is a physical corner. And there's nothing that DB coaches like better than a guy who will come up and hit. So, hello, my name is Andrew Booth Jr. And when you watch him, the first thing that steps off the tape is going to be, okay, size, speed, height, but his tackling ability in space is really, really good. And so, it's a trait that we don't talk about much. But the difference between a 1-yard gain and a 21-yard gain is a corner on the perimeter that can tackle. You see right there the ability to crowd routes. He's got ball skills coming from range, coming from on top of the wide receiver, and then you see right there the high point. He can go up and get it. So you got a high point guy, a guy who crowds routes down the field, and a really physical finisher. Andrew Booth is quiet. He's not Stingley, not McDuffie. He's not Sauce. He just happens to be one of the most solid cornerbacks in the entire draft, and he's going to be a first-rounder.
See, I understand what Lance did. See, because Lance is from Texas, and Lance and those guys get on the grill, and they think barbecue is all about the meat and the seasoning. And I understand why he likes Andrew Booth, because this dude is complete. I'm being from North Carolina, where we really own barbecue. We believe you got to put a little sauce in it, which is – yes.
Own barbecue.
Yes, a little pork barbecue with a little vinegar in it. That's why I go with sauce.
Oh,
but
no.
Andrew Booth is a dude. He's up there. He's a nice player.
Let me we just showed the teams in need of a cornerback. Buck, we saw the Texans at 3, the Jets at 4. Could you see Sauce going by pick number 4 in this draft?
He'll have to blow up the combine.
Okay.
He'll have to show people that he is a Jalen Ramsey type in terms of athleticism, burst, all of that stuff, because Jalen Ramsey was a world-class athlete, and we've seen the kind of player – if Sauce puts up that, yeah, he can be in consideration. I think he's a top 10 talent for sure, though.
Prior to the combine, and were it not for injury, Derek Stingley Jr. would have been in that conversation as the first cornerback taken. Where are you at on Stingley?
Look, the jury's still out on him because he's a 5-star talent, but he hasn't played to that level the last 2 years. His freshman season, we were talking about a guy that he had all the tools in the makeup to maybe be possibly a number 1 overall pick, but we haven't seen that. Injuries have kept him sidelined, inconsistent play this year. I just don't know what I'm getting. But if I get the guy that showed up his freshman year, he's a standout performer. He can make plays. He can play from off. He does a great job reading routes. Ultra competitive during that campaign. We just haven't seen it consistently. So now if you're a team, you have to figure out which guy am I gambling on? The one that played 2 seasons ago or the one that we saw most recently? I don't know. He's going to have to dazzle during his pro day because he's not working out here.
Yeah,
and the jury.
That's the problem is you got to go all the way back to 19 to see his best tape. But the 19 tape was incredible. I mean, truly incredible. And with Stingley right now, you have a guy who is a tremendous tester. He was when he was in high school. Bucky taught me a while back, you got to go back and look at all the testing from when they did the high school stuff because you can find out who the dudes were. He's an unbelievable tester, but he's not going to do it here, so you'll have to wait until the pro day. Once his pro day comes up and he hits 195 pounds, 199 pounds, he runs fast, he jumps high, his name is going to recirculate. But I'm telling you right now, from a trait standpoint, it's really, really good. But the 19 tape, that can't be his best tape. So you're going to have to go all the way back 2 years to project him. That's tough for teams to do sometimes. So I think he may fall a little bit, but those traits, that testing, he's going to shoot back up.
All right, Lance, let's wrap it up. We saved the triple B for last, the baked beans baller. How about our man Roger Mccrary?
Roger Mccrary. Well, so he's in the Southeast. We're staying away from the vinegar-based barbecue sauce. We're going to go with the old school, like ketchup-based Texas-style barbecue sauce, even though he's not from there. But we'll claim him because he's tough, he's gritty. You can see the guy is ripped, absolutely ripped. It reminds me of me a couple years ago. You look at the twitch that he has to take on the short area stuff, but he's also a very physical press man corner. I'll give you a little hint. I watched Jahan Dotson take on Roger McCrary from this year, and I had to drop Dotson a little bit because he didn't want it with McCrary. McCrary is a physical corner that sometimes he can have a little trouble when the ball goes too far down the field. But if you try to throw underneath on McCrary, it's a wrap because he's just too strong for most of these wide receivers.
He absolutely is too strong. He's a talented player. And what I love about him is the competitiveness. We can talk about having the tools and the traits and the speed and all that. It's about competing. And the way they play at Auburn, where they lock you up man to man, you don't get a lot of help and assistance from your other guys. You have to be steady Eddie with your demeanor, your confidence, and he has that. And the fact that he battled, even here against Alabama, no help, didn't give up many completions. This is a tough, gritty competitor. I think he is a nice fit for a team that loves to employ a lot of man coverage.
Always on an island. Always, no fear.
Well, I would like to say we got off to an excellent start. We had barbecue war talk. We had pans of baked beans with 8 sugars talk. But you know what? We didn't mention Georgia, and we're talking about defense. How in the heck did that happen at the 2022 Combine? We will atone for that mistake when we return, celebrate the afternoon and evening the Georgia Bulldogs had yesterday as we take a look back at a handful of winners from last night's Scouting Combine. This is Scouting Combine Today.
Back inside Lucas Oil Stadium for day 3, a veritable alpha male convention here.
That's a big man moving.
Holy that moly. Deserves.
What the heck did we just see?
Now, when you run to 40, there are some hazards.
Oh no, we're unlatched.
This is definitely the worst job of the combine. Look out.
He is fun to watch. He just pulverizes blockers.
The Colts want me to autograph this?
Get stabbed right. That was dangerous right there.
Look how fluid these guys are going over the bags. Eyes are up. The footwork is just fluid. It's moving. Oh, over his head there. You're throwing heat.
What happened?
He asked for that. We good. He said Hutchinson asked for the heat.
All right, Hutchinson.
There we go.
Nicely done.
We're finishing up strong.
You know, this ain't the end, so we're only getting started.
Well, good reason to dance because we had some incredibly large men running incredibly fast 40s. You see here stacked up with Aaron Donald and J.J. Watt, 2 of the best in the history of the league. And there is Devante Wyatt and Jordan Davis clocking in at 4.77 and 4.78. How fast is that? We'll get a look at our crack research staff as they pointed out that Jordan Davis is taller than Gronk, heavier than left tackle Jason Peters, faster than Patrick Mahomes, and had a quicker 10-yard split than Jarvis Landry. And the man clocked in at 341 pounds. Here's our Bucky Brooks top 5 edge rushers and the times they clocked. You see the 4.74 for someone that could be the #1 overall pick in Aiden Hutchinson. You see David Ajabo down there with a 4.55, just incredible. Jermaine Johnson, the 4.58 as well. And you see the 4.58 there of Kayvon Thibodeaux, and here is our Bucky Brooks talking to him because he opted not to do the drills. Decided to run the 40 and then called it quits for the rest of the day. And after this video here, he sat down with Bucky, and Buck asked him about the recent media criticism he's been receiving.
I mean, it's entertainment. I mean, not to say I love it, but, you know, all publicity is not really bad publicity, you know what I mean? So as long as they're talking about me, I'm fine with it, right? And honestly, I'm more blessed to be in this position than not. You know what I mean? So honestly, I look at it as a good thing. And sometimes, you know, you don't want to feed into it, but sometimes there are things that I can work on, that I can get better on. And I just got to stay honest with myself, right? Because some stuff is just clickbait and some stuff is real. So me just being able to filter through and know what I got to work on and what I got to grow at, and then just keep pushing forward, right? Because nothing really matters until, you know, my name's called at the end of the day.
All right, Buck, so you're the man that sat down with him. Just kind of give me your takeaways, your impressions of the decision he made and his explanation for why he decided not to go through the drills.
Look, I'll say I came away with a different impression than the one that I started with coming into the Combine. I really worried about Kayvon Thibodeaux coming in because I did worry about him kind of having maybe a too cool for school attitude, but in talking to him, I do have a better understanding of how he wants to perform and how he wants to play at the next level. That said, the tape is the tape. He was a bit inconsistent in terms of the effort and those things. But I do believe he's probably taken on a little too much water. This is a very talented prospect, a guy who has a lot of skills and a lot of tools that he brings to the table. He needs to play at a high level, but there's no reason why, with some of the pass rushes that we've seen in the league, there's no reason why this guy can't be a consistent double-digit sack artist at the next level.
You know, the term in scouting, guys get machine gunned, right, in the room. And I think what's happened is maybe some of the stuff that you've heard about is fair criticism of Kayvon Thibodeaux, you know, the work, this, that, or the other. But if he is a true competitor, he will take that. It will fuel him, and he will move forward, and he'll be a better football player, frankly, because of it. I have guys like Marcus Golden and Matt Judon and even DK Metcalf, who I loved more than anybody. And they've got my scouting reports and some of my weaknesses. They've referenced them before, and it's kind of fueled them. And those are all guys that can ball now. They can all ball. So I think if Kayvon Thibodeaux takes this and does the same thing with that money, he's going to be in good shape. But it's up to him to do that because all the talking doesn't matter. Once you get drafted, once you're in camp, once they snap the football, it's football.
Yeah, and no doubt. Look, he's going to get drafted. He's going to get drafted high. He's going to have an opportunity to prove the doubters wrong. And I felt, Buck, kind of like Jordan Davis, I don't want to say he had to prove some doubters wrong, but there was conversation about how high can you take a potentially two-down defensive lineman, and, man, did he knock it out of the park yesterday.
He absolutely knocked it out of the park. I mean, we saw the tweet you put up to, you referenced 341 pounds running the times that he ran. You just don't see big guys do this. And part of the, I guess, questions that surrounded Jordan Davis was how he was utilized in Georgia's defense. In that defense, they had him as a run and plug guy. He stayed, stalemated guys at the line of scrimmage and created opportunities for others. But in looking at his movement skills, looking at the vertical and broad jump that he put up, this is a very explosive athlete. I'm not saying he's an Aaron Donald type pass rusher, but he certainly has more in the tank that we've seen.
Well, his size and athletic profile are off the charts. I mean, his testing was crazy. His teammate did a great job too, Devante Wyatt. And one of the things that I pointed out yesterday was that I thought it was going to be a good day for Wyatt to really separate himself from the rest of, you know, his teammates, his scheme, his defense. And that's what he did. He went out here. Now, he ran a really fast time. We know how fast he was. But I thought what really set him apart is out on the field, going through the drills, his change of direction, his body control, his ability to get around the hoops. Not this drill so much as when we saw him run the hoops, he was bending, he was low, he had lean. That shows up when he rushes the quarterback as well and gets into the gap. So I thought it was a great day for Wyatt, not necessarily because of the testing. We know he ran fast, but money, he was really good on these drills.
Bucky, you referenced before yesterday's combine got rolling for Boye Mafe that you expected big things out of him, and he delivered for you.
Yeah, he's continued to deliver. He delivered during the regular season. He delivered at the Senior Bowl where he showed people his athleticism, his explosiveness as a pass rusher. And then at this event, he showed people he's not only an A-level athlete, he has a lot of potential to grow into a dominant player. The movement skills are exactly what you want to see from a guy who could be a bit of a hybrid off the edge. And then you watch him go through bags and change direction and do all of the stuff. It's not a surprise that he is able to consistently get to the quarterback. A very intriguing prospect. Don't be surprised if Maffei's name is called in the first round. There's a lot of buzz about him and his potential.
Lance, I didn't like the disrespect you had for Yorgos Karlaftis going into the drill show. I didn't like it. I didn't like it one bit.
I didn't give him many flames.
And now
yesterday.
how you feeling?
You know what? I feel a lot better. I think he did really well. Look, some of these guys have decided not to run at the Combine. I think when they look back at the decision not to run on this fast track, they may regret it because there are some times being turned in on this new turf. But I'll tell you this. You look at how smooth that spin move was. We already know he's a power rusher, but what you saw in drills like that is the footwork. You saw on this drill, I thought he was really good. This is one of the drills that I really liked was his ability to bend and accelerate around the hoop. And I think the drills really showed me something. He also jumped, I think, 38 inches. That is an explosive leaper. So he's an explosive player. He's very powerful. And I thought getting through the drills and showing some bend as a rusher maybe showed people, hey, I can rush more than just power rusher. I've got the athletic traits to become a more well-rounded rusher.
How about Jermaine Johnson building on a Senior Bowl, Buck?
Another guy that is really skyrocketing. We have talked about this draft being loaded on the front line, not only at offensive tackle, but on the defensive side, those edge rushers. Jermaine Johnson is a guy who's consistently helped himself over the last year. Goes to Florida State as ACC Defensive Player of the Year, has 12 sacks, dominates in that conference. Goes to the Senior Bowl, and, man, he shows some nastiness, some toughness. Also showed the ability to be a dominant pass rusher with multiple sets. Then you look at him here. The movement skills, the testing numbers, he continues to show people that he deserves to be considered in that upper echelon of pass rushing prospects in this draft class. I'm thinking he's a top 15 or better prospect. Yeah. We'll see what it looks like.
That was 3 non-Bulldogs in a row. We cannot have it. So
Johnson is kind of a Bulldog.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
He was there.
Kind of a Bulldog.
So let's go back to a current Bulldog, or at least a Bulldog alma mater coming in here.
Channing Tyndall. Channing Tyndall. That's a dog right there. He's a dog on the field, but he was a dog out here on the turf as well. Wow, what a day for testing for Channing Tyndall. He ran fast. He jumped really, really high. He had great change of direction numbers as well. You saw a 42-inch vertical. I mean, look at the combination, the 4.5 and the 42-inch. It's 19 years since we've seen that before, but he was also excellent out in the field. He looked the part of a very athletic linebacker with good size. You see how smooth this is all the way through the drills. And I'm telling you, you got to do something to stand out on that defensive unit. And I thought what Channing Tyndall did this year, do you know technically he has no starts? He wasn't a starter at all at Georgia.
Sounds about right.
Felt like it, though. I mean, he was always on the field, so technically no starts, and he's got a chance to be a first-round pick after yesterday's workout, despite not having to start. That's pretty incredible.
It is incredible, and part of the thing that is a challenge in evaluating him, he's a better athlete than player now. But those athletic numbers, they will get you on the field. And at a time where we're looking for these athletes to counter these wide-open offenses, Channing Tyndall is an intriguing prospect with a lot of upside.
They call it a car wash. You got to interview with the teams. You got to go through the medicals. You got to get your measurements. You got to come out here, do all your drills, and then you got to go speak with our Kimmy Checks. Yesterday, all the stars out shining, and so many of them stopped by to have a chat with her. Here's a little thumbnail of all that went down.
Rumor has it, one day you want to be a sports broadcaster. You're here trying to take my job, but you said, we could have a show together.
We could have a show together, and I was saying it's underground with Kim and KT.
Can you give us a little sportscaster recap of your Combine experience?
I don't want to give too much. You guys have to pay for that, but we'll come back, or you'll come back when it's really my turn to go. And like I said, about 20 years, and then I'll be ready.
Let's look at this little glow-up challenge. Come on.
Oh, no.
Come on. Hey, there he goes. Getting bigger. Getting big. Oh, we got a mini model.
Oh, no.
What's going through your mind right now, realizing all of this is done and you just literally crushed it?
It's surreal. These are the things that you dream of as a kid, and laying here and, looking at the ceiling and just like man, like one day I want to be a ball player. One day I want to do something great with my life. And, you know, having this buzz and having this opportunity, it's a blessing. And I can't let this go to waste.
Now, for any kiddo back in Greece, which is where you're from, who maybe wants to play in the NFL one day, any words of advice or wisdom for them?
Greece is a pretty small country, obviously, and, you know, with the success of Giannis, obviously, in recent years, and, you know, hopefully I could continue that trajectory to a certain extent, you know, give inspiration to those kids that nothing's impossible.
Yo.
We got your TikTok. We got it all. Let's see. Look at you two. Him and I were wild.
That's when I had hair.
There was another really big name that tweeted out about you, very impressed after your performance here at the Combine. None other than The Rock.
Can you smell? Shout out to The Rock, man. You know, it's much love. I don't know what to say, man. It's honestly so surreal. It's all coming so fast, but, you know, this ain't the end, so we're only getting started.
Very well might be the star of the Combine when all is said and done. I think we're going to leave Indianapolis, and Jordan Davis is going to be the #1 name to come out of her.
Do you remember when he had his glasses, the sunglasses
right
on?
In front of
it's
us.
like he knew before he even worked out.
Oh, yeah.
He had the swag on 5 flames.
Yeah.
And he was going out there knowing that he was about to crush the Combine.
I mean, didn't he basically demand an interview with you? He just grabbed Devante Wyatt and was like, yeah, we're going to do this now.
I mean, what am I going to do? What am I going to tell him? What am I going to tell him?
Right.
Like, I've never done pairs. And all of a sudden, I got 2 Georgia Bulldogs, and Jordan Davis is like, oh, yeah, you're going to interview my guy, too. Okay, whatever you want, big man.
It's pretty great. I don't think there was any question. He will be the one name you take away when we return. It's an interesting draft. All the trades last year means we have got multiple teams with multiple picks, some of them just a pick apart from one another. We're going to get into the Lions and the Giants and the Eagles and how those multiple picks very well could shake out and change the way the draft's going to look in 2022. That is next on NFL Scouting Combine Today.
All right, let's start.
This is the music they're gonna play?
Yeah, they should give them walk-up music.
Get Biggie or Tupac or something.
Oh, here we go.
This is his type of route.
That's the guy we like.
Run, buddy, run.
A lot of pressure down there.
This one's a good one to watch. Watch their hand placement.
You ran pretty good through there. When you want me to kind of give you targeted guys to...
Every time.
Anytime?
Yep. This guy, you just got to do something different with. Oh, don't step on it. Ooh, different body type.
Good football player, though.
Who's that guy?
It's the guy I've been telling you about. Used to be able to hear a pin drop when they were running.
No doubt about it.
It's a guy we like. He's like a good, like, all-around player. Final decision.
I like both of them.
Yeah. Smart, tough, dependable.
Joe Shane, Brian Daboll there. Fun getting to eavesdrop on that conversation from their suite, watching the prospects. So here we go. Teams with multiple first-round picks. The Lions, 2-32. Jets, 4-10. How about the Giants? Just one pick between their two at 5-7. And then the Eagles with 3 in 4 picks. It is as unique as anything we've ever seen. Buck, your thoughts on how this could affect the draft?
I mean, it's a huge impact when you have so many teams that have multiple picks, because depending on what decision they make, whether to stay with the picks or who they pick and when they pick them, it alters everybody below them. I think this gives them the opportunity to be power brokers, particularly the Eagles with 3. You talk about Howie Roseman, his reputation for being a wheeler dealer. He can move all around the board and change how the draft is. So all those mock drafts, write them in pencil, because you never know what's going to happen. I would not put them in pen.
No, and I tell you what, I think some things are really changing. I bet you Daboll was talking about Trayvon Walker. He said, who's that guy? It's the one I've been telling you about. I'll bet you it's a guy like Trayvon Walker. In my head, I'm already thinking, you know what, I'm going to plug him in at number 3 to the Texans, because here's the thing. I think the Jets and the Giants, because of where they're positioned, I thought they were potential trade-up partners to the number 3 spot. And I think that's what's interesting, Money. When you look at all these, I look at draft capital as an ability to go find exactly who you want. If you're the Eagles, I don't know if you want to make 3 picks in the first round and have them all come due at the same time for a second contract. If you've done your job and you hit on those players, then that's a lot of expenses. So you might use one of them to either get a later pick in another year or to move up and get a guy you really love.
Yeah, you can use 15 and 16 or 16 and 19 to jump up into the top 10. The other thing I think that's interesting is when you think of multiple needs and depth, you know, and you guys always talk about it, right? The horizontal board versus the vertical board. You know, how deep is that offensive line group? If we feel like both the Giants and the Jets need offensive linemen, can you take that D-line guy earlier, the Trayvon Walker or something like Kayvon Thibodeau, knowing that, hey, with this other pick, I'm still going to get a great offensive lineman.
Yeah, you absolutely do that. And it's one of the things that we do in the room. When you're in the room, what you're trying to do is you're trying to weigh your options. And sometimes, whether it's breaking up the cluster or coming away with a dream scenario, if the talent pool is a little shallower at one position, you grab that guy early and come back and fish in the deeper pond. That's what you're doing. That's what we may see the Giants and some of these other teams with multiple picks do.
We will have new head coaches on the clock. We got so many. You saw Brian Daboll there chatting with Joe Shane. He has got picks number 5 and 7. Lovie Smith, you referenced it just there, Lance, that if they want Walker, they're going to have to snatch him at 3. Doug Peterson, of course, replaces Urban Meyer in Jacksonville after less than a season. Nathaniel Hackett, the speculation around Aaron Rodgers, the list goes on. There's a lot of new head coaches. Now, Buck, here's a look at your top 5 safeties. We already talked about your number 1 safety, Kyle Hamilton. Some say he's the number 1 player in the draft, just position dependent about why he wouldn't be selected number 1 overall. We also talked about Jaquan Brisker, but let's get into it. Let's start digging into these other safeties and go with Daxton Hill.
Dax Hill is a nice player, and he's a nice player because he's kind of the new school nickel player that everyone is playing with, meaning he specializes in playing in the slot. He can come off the edge. He's a nice, willing, and dependable tackler. He's kind of a specialist, and so we have him listed amongst the safeties, but really he should be categorized as a nickel because that's how they play him. He's a slot defender in a game where we're seeing more sub packages. He's a nice fit for these teams that like to play 5 and 6 DBs all the time.
A name we haven't heard a lot about, Lance, Lewis Cine.
Yeah. Lewis Cine is that one guy. You remember you say, who's Lewis Cine? Remember that one guy in the national championship game that was running up and hitting people? Yeah, that was Lewis Cine. He's urgent, he's aggressive, and he's also an alley cat, meaning he will run that alley and he's more than willing to swap paint if that's what you want to do. Now, the one thing is he plays like he's 220 pounds. He's actually about 199, and he's not the thickest, biggest, tackler out there. He will hit you. I think the one thing he's got to get better at is seeing if he can carry a little bit more weight on the frame. But they say he is an absolute coach on the back end, that his intelligence is off the charts. So you give a team a guy on the back end with that kind of intelligence and a guy who's aggressive and urgent, and I'm telling you, they will put a priority on getting a player like that in the building. So he's a guy that I think they're going to really, really love.
Bucky, how about Verone McKinley? Let's get some Pac-12 action in here.
Okay, some Pac-12 action is definitely in the building, and one of the reasons why you like McKinley is, like Lance alluded to, you want a coach on the field, and that means you need a traffic cop. His game is all about instincts, intelligence, and ball skills. He understands exactly what he's supposed to do in every defense. He has the awareness to make the plays that sometimes he shouldn't even be around the ball, and then the ball skills. If you make an errant throw in his area, he is going to pick it off. There's a value for a safety that can turn the ball over. It's one of the reasons why this is a guy that I put in the top 5. He is an elite prospect because he finds a way to get his hands on the ball early and often in games.
Remember just a moment ago you said if you're doing your mock draft, do it in pencil.
Absolutely.
Well, we're not going to ask you to write them down, but we are going to ask the two of you to make the pick. All right, so here we go. Which way do we go?
Ooh.
You play general manager, Lance. You play general manager, Bucky. And it is up to you to make the decision. Lance, we're going to start in your hometown, Houston. The Texans have the number 3 overall selection. Do they go with the offensive tackle, Ike Ekwonu, or the safety, Kyle Hamilton?
Kyle Hamilton is a top player on my board. I think he's the best player in this draft. A 6.88 is what I gave him. But listen, let's be real. That tackle position is such a monster position, and Ike has done nothing but help himself. I've got to go with the tackle, Ike Ekwonu. And you know what? You can play him on the right side and Tunsil on the left side. If you were to trade Tunsil, you plug him in on the left side. Maybe you play him at guard for a year and let him get his feet wet in the game. But the bottom line is when you have a guy with his type of aggressiveness, his type of body type and explosiveness, you just can't pass on that. No matter how much you love Kyle Hamilton, tackles are prioritized over safeties, and that's that.
I disrespectfully disagree. Leave it at that. Guy looks like Derwin James out there, man. You're telling me you get to draft the next Derwin James and move him all over the field like a queen on a chessboard?
Where did he get drafted?
Where would he get redrafted?
Where did he get drafted?
Well, exactly, but where would he get redrafted?
Remember Jamal Adams was drafted in the top 10, and now we're trying to throw. Hey, I'm just saying. Don't be mad at me, money. Don't shoot the messenger.
Trying to call Kyle Hamilton Jamal Adams.
I'm not trying to call him Jamal Adams.
That's what it sounds like.
Jamal Adams has been
Bucky,
to a
you're
Pro
the
Bowl,
Broncos. You are the Broncos at number 9. You need a quarterback. You're going to go with Kenny Pickett, or are you going to go with the linebacker Devin Lloyd?
I'm going to go with the linebacker Devin Lloyd because Devin Lloyd is the quarterback of the defense. And because of his versatility and all the things that he brings to the table, I believe we're in a bit of a copycat mode, meaning everyone has watched what Michael Parsons was able to add to the Cowboys defense. They aren't necessarily similar players, but he brings a lot of versatility. And so because of what Parsons was able to do, I believe that the Broncos could chase the blueprint, take a Devin Lloyd, move him all around, and get a lot of production from a guy who is a very talented playmaker.
You know what I love about that pick? If you don't draft a quarterback, you can't criticize us for the quarterback we draft. Just take it off the board. All right, Lance. You have pick number 13. The Cleveland Browns are on the clock, and your decision comes down to Chris Olave or Jermaine Johnson.
Oh, wow. I'm a big Jermaine Johnson fan there, but no. Here's okay.
Any day now.
We've committed to Baker Mayfield.
They're about to run up card number 14.
We've committed to Baker Mayfield. Chris Olave has got to be the guy. We got to help him. I'm going to go. That was a hard one, though. You came up with a good one. That's a hard one. I'm going Chris Olave, though. Listen, Chris Olave has a chance to be what Odell Beckham Jr. just wasn't in Cleveland, at least. And I think he can do some of the same things. He's got great speed. He's a 3-level wide receiver. He can work from the slot. He can work outside. He's got the hands. He's smooth on the routes. And look, if Baker's going to be your guy, you got to get him some help at wide receiver. I'd love to put another pass rusher with Myles Garrett, but let's not be so greedy. I've got to get some speed and a wide receiver out there.
See what you did there. Let's not be so greedy.
Yeah.
See what you did there.
And he's a corner out there,
John.
I
See
know.
what you did there.
Wasn't intentional, but I'll take credit.
All right, here we go. Bucky, last one. The Steelers at number 20. Big Ben is retired. Mason Rudolph is not the answer. Do they go the quarterback Malik Willis, or do they go with another dominant edge in Trevon Walker?
Well, if we don't go quarterback, we got to play with Mason Rudolph.
Malik
Willis is the pick. So we're going to go with Malik Willis, and we're going to make sure that he is our quarterback of the future because we're going a full overhaul on how we're going to play as the Pittsburgh Steelers. We have a dynamic dual-threat quarterback. We have changes to the defense. We now are going to commit and rebrand ourselves as a team that plays great defense and we run the football. Malik Willis adds to the running game while developing as a passer in the pocket. We absolutely are going with the quarterback. If we run up the court with anybody else, there we're going to we get run out the building.
See, the good news is, unlike Lance as a general manager, Bucky, you do run the card up.
Yeah.
Lance just, fiddles around, he meanders.
And here's the thing. You would think that we didn't talk about this before the show.
That's why I'm an actor. I'm a great actor. I sold you. I sold Mossy. You were all freaking out like, does he even remember the answer? Yeah, it was Olave. It was always Olave.
We'll run it to the next block.
It was Olave. It was always going to be Olave.
Only one person would pat himself on the back for his acting.
That was a great job by me, though.
You don't think we was acting too? You don't think we were acting too?
Mossy's in my ear.
Jeez.
It's Olave.
Jeez.
I'm good. I mean, I'm good.
When we return, you guys made money picks all week. Guys you thought would show up to Indianapolis, participate in the Combine, and make money. We're going to check the receipts. Did your money makers make money in Indy? When we return, we'll share the results and the report cards for Lance and Bucky on Scouting Combine today. All right, back on Scouting Combine today. It is time for our money moves. And, guys, throughout the week, every single day, we ask you players that are going to make money in Indianapolis. Make money on the day they were doing their workouts. You came up with a number of them. Would you like to check to see whether or not, in fact, the check that you wrote will be cashed? All right, Bucky, let's get started. You had a defensive lineman who you said was going to make some money. Had a pretty darn good day yesterday.
Yes.
Would you say that bag is going to be opened for Travon Walker?
Absolutely. The bag is full for Travon Walker. I mean, when you are a guy who comes out of nowhere and displays the kind of athleticism that he displayed, because remember, we didn't know what he was going to do at Georgia. Couldn't figure out his position. 4'5", 140, 35.5-inch vert. 123 inches on the broad jump, and then he got those big old long 35-inch arms. Ooh. He made some money. They would look before the workout. There were D-line coaches singing his praises. After it, every D-line coach is going to the personnel director and the scouting director saying, "I want this guy on my squad. I will find a way to make him right." He made a lot of money this weekend.
All right, congratulations, Bucky. Your bank account still has a positive balance. Let's go to Lance. Lance, your first money moves, see whether or not it came to fruition. There was a lot of buzz about the wide receiver group.
Uh-oh.
Do you remember a name that was not mentioned a whole lot?
Yes.
And whether or not
Cincinnati's own Alec Pierce. As a matter of fact, that's right. He ran a 4.41. He jumped 40.5 inches, if that's something that you like, a guy who's fast and explosive, which I happen to like. His broad jump was 10.9, which is really, really good. And he also really did well inside the.
We both gave you the
I know. Look at this. Whee!
Hey, who cut this tape?
Hey, who cut the tape? Don't put the gauntlet up there where he drops a pass.
Hey, who cut this tape?
That's not right. But I think he legitimately moved from maybe the 4th round into the 3rd round, and you can go look at one of the websites that have the contract values. That's money. Like, that's real money going from day 3 to day 2. And I think he went from day 3 to day 2, and that's what we're talking about, making money. He made money.
Cut this tape, man. Yeah. All right, Bucky, let's go. Another money move for you. We got a wide receiver done. We got a D lineman done. How about your second money move to an edge player? Edge player.
Yeah, edge player. You know, I was racking my brain trying to figure out who could make money, but then I just love Big Ten players. Boye Mafe is another guy who has made a ton of money. There are a lot of people wondering, could he do it? How fast was he going to run? He shocked everybody. 4.53, 38-inch vertical, 10'5" broad jump. And to build upon what he has started to do at the end of the season, during the postseason at the Senior Bowl, and then being able to put it together here, he is somebody. I'm saying, since we put him in pencil, put him in the 1st round, because in pencil I can race it later.
Look at that. Put it in Sharpie in the 1st round. All right, last one for you, Lance. I feel like we talked a lot of Georgia football. But you got one more Georgia Bulldog that you said was going to make money here.
Oh, yeah, that was yesterday. It was Devante Wyatt. Pull him up.
Was it Devante Wyatt? Show me.
Devante
Wyatt.
There he is. Look at him.
Oh! That's that look that you make when you got a big check come through.
Oh! Look at those zeros and those commas. Let me tell you, so running fast is great. It got everyone's attention, but seeing how loose he was out on the field, defensive tackles always go. You need defensive tackles in the 1st round. And what happened was, between Devante Wyatt and Jordan Davis, the 2 Georgia Bulldogs basically just told you, we're going in the 1st, and we actually pushed ourselves up a few different slots. So he made money because he went from, I think, the back end of the 1st up a few spots, and all those spots in the 1st round, that's worth a lot of money. So he definitely made money.
Well, we got a number of young men that are going to try to make some money today. Love watching the defensive backs, especially the 40s, because these are some of the most explosive players on earth. That's coming up in less than 10 minutes with DJ and Rich Eisen as you see them warming up, getting stretched out, ready to blaze some incredible times here in just minutes. And when we return, we'll put a wrap on not just today's Scouting Combine today, but the entire Scouting Combine today from the previous 4 days. Got some wildly entertaining features for you to digest in just a moment as you get a look at all the speed that was on display. We got even more of that coming next. Well, we are minutes away. The NFL Scouting Combine 2022 final day gets started in just minutes, 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. We got defensive backs and the specialists, kickers and punters, and we got some specialists in our group this year. Going back to yesterday and the defensive linemen, how about a little Ohio State versus Michigan? The Bosa brothers, Joey and Nick, versus the Michigan men, Aiden Hutchinson and David Ajabo. Wow. And look at this. They not only beat him on the field for the first time in forever this season, they beat him in the 40 times.
Team up north.
Domination.
Team up north.
Exactly right. The team up north. All right, guys. So someone's got to clock the 40s, right? And every team's got to make sure they've got their own hand time. It's not just the laser. They want to check the laser against their hand time. Well, we here at NFL Media have our own timer. And we also have someone that's, there's a little politics involved, that politics to be the backup, and is kind of interested in maybe seeing whether or not the starter on our team is maybe feeling a little under the weather from day to day. So get a look at how things shake out here at NFL Media when it comes to who gets to clock the 40s for us.
Hi, my name is Rachel Bonetta, and I am the backup stopwatch timer for the 40-yard dash. I got 18. What'd you get? Slow. I've always wanted to be a stopwatch timer my entire life. Since 2 weeks ago, I've been practicing nonstop. I think I've actually gotten pretty good at it.
There you go.
6 seconds. Little slow. I think you can be faster next time.
Hey guys,
Go.
Okay.
It's 350. It's pretty good.
Ian, what's going on?
Actually, I'm really good. 284. That's actually really quick. That's pretty neat. I was promised that I was actually going to be the main timer, but they gave the position to a guy named Mark Ross. The atmosphere here is absolutely electric, and sometimes it can turn a little hostile. And I hope that Mark is ready to handle that. I just feel like Mark is out of his element. I have not seen him practicing at all. Typical Mark just leaves his stopwatch on the table unattended. This is what's going to get you kicked out of the combine, okay? I'll go give it back to him. I'm a team player, and I obviously want him to succeed, but if he does not, then I am ready to step in. Hey, Mark. I just want to let you know I support you. Just wanted to let you know there are some whispers happening that maybe you're not focused, and the producers actually do want to talk to you.
Really?
I'll show you where they are. You want to just come with me?
So,
yeah, come on.
All right.
Or Rachel Bonetta. Backup stopwatch time. By the way, I'd like to point out, yes, perhaps that's theater, perhaps it's not. Is it a documentary? Is it fiction? You'll never know. One thing that was an actual event that transpired here a little bit earlier this week, there's certain spots where you can't sit when guys are running the 40s. They don't necessarily like you to be moving around. They want the guys to have complete and utter focus. Why don't you go ahead and take a guess what color Rachel was wearing the other day when Mark Gorsuch had this to say.
Got
hey, ma'am.
Crowds now.
Ma'am. Richter. Don't move. Don't sit there next time either. Sit over here.
Oh, boy.
Stay where you're at right now.
I think I need to have Mark come over when it's bedtime at the house. Let the kids get him rounded up.
That's her first time. That's her first time here, you know. Everybody's got to figure it out. Gorsuch's going to yell at you sooner or later. I've been yelled at by him.
Have you really?
Yes. Yeah, yelled at. You know what? I didn't appreciate it either, by the way. I wasn't anywhere close to the finish line.
He was waiting
we
for
used
somebody.
to be set up right at the finish line, and I got up and started walking. Sir. All right, guys, we got about 90 seconds left in our scouting combine today for 2022. Takeaways.
Biggest takeaways. Guys are really, really fast.
Yes, they are.
Big guys, bigger, faster, stronger. We talk about the evolution of the athletes in today's game, and we're seeing it play out right in front of us. Guys are clocking amazing times in the 40. They're putting these great distances. But then the athleticism that we're seeing in drills, it is a very impressive collection of talent. May not have the star power, but really deep and talented, this draft class.
Bucky and I talked about this on Move the Sticks this morning. We went into this draft thinking it was like Grandma was giving us our socks and notebook paper kind of draft, like things we needed, but it wasn't excited. And we walk away from here thinking Grandma got us a drone. because it looks like a sweet Christmas present now after we're done with this combine. So I'm way more energized about this draft after the combine now, Money.
Yeah, no doubt. Saw a lot of guys move up in the draft. Always love seeing the young men realize their dreams and help themselves out with the events today. It's going to keep going. We have the defensive backs coming up. Hop on over to NFL Network. DJ, Rich Eisen, and the crew going to take you for the next 5 or so hours. Thanks so much, and thanks to our crew here. Everybody that helped out, not just in front of the camera, obviously, but behind the camera as well. A successful 4 days for us on NFL Scouting Combine today. Enjoy the defensive backs, and we cannot wait to see you in about a month for the NFL Draft, or month and a half, whatever it is. I'm not good with numbers. Thanks, Lance. Thanks, Bucky.